Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. Today is a very special episode and perhaps my important lesson as a student and teacher of reality creation and what I've learned on my own spiritual path that can help you. If we get into the habit of imagining for others, imagining positive and powerful things for others, it will help us out. I imagine for others selfishly because I know how much it benefits me. I have seen it with my inner sense and my third eye. I have seen what happens when I begin to imagine and pray for others. I can see the energy as it comes through me out to that person. And the more and more people that I pray and imagine for, all the energy flows through me first and comes out through my heart. And the more and more people that I imagine for, it's like a river. So if I get into this habit, I have this river of light flowing through me as I've already imagined for everyone else. So when I imagine for myself, it is much more effective. Getting into the process and understanding how to imagine for others is the key. We don't want to waste our time. We want to effectively find a means through our own thought processes to imagine for other people. I recently had suffered a sort of malaise. I don't know if I want to release the episode I did on it because I went through a period where I just wasn't as happy and I wasn't as effective and I felt unaligned. And then I remembered, if I get outside of myself and start imagining and helping others, that this would go away. When I had that revelation, almost immediately after, I was talking to Lynn McTaggart, the amazing author of The Power of Eight, where she says, when you pray for others, it is much more effective and pulls you out of that self-centered place where you have the least amount of light. There are many different ways that we can go about doing this. And I'm going to tell you about my experiences in imagining for others. And I'm going to talk about what Neville Goddard says, what Joseph Murphy says, and I'll give you my own opinions on what works and what might not work. And then I'm going to read through a couple of posts I had on Facebook where I asked to imagine for others, and I had the most amazing posts, people requesting help, and for me to imagine for others. When I use the word imagine, that comes directly from Neville Goddard. If it's easier for you, you can call it praying for others. The reason I say imagine goes back to the very beginning of the Neville Goddard lectures. I've covered about 250 of them. And he mentions imagining for other people, the process of doing it, and how to do it. You can simply say a prayer. I pray that this person is healed, or I pray that this person finds a job, or I pray that this person is safe. You can say those words out loud. But you may find it to be more effective if you can imagine for that person. And there are several ways to do it that we are taught by Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard says that you can imagine having a conversation with that person and you really hear their voice correctly. The key is a very accurate representation of their voice in your imagination, where they say, I'm feeling so much better now. He used this example a lot at a different time when people aren't online as much. So you can imagine seeing a post where somebody shares a message with you, or you see a Facebook post that says, I'm so much better, I'm healed, I'm doing better. The other method that Neville Goddard suggested is to literally imagine that you are that person inside their body. In one of his lectures, he mentions using this technique, but to be careful if you do anything while imagining using that technique that that person wouldn't want to do, then you can get stuck there or frozen. The key element that Neville Goddard teaches is the golden rule. You must imagine something for someone that you would want for yourself. If you would want it for yourself, then it's okay to pray for that person. There is some line of thought where people say, you should wait for permission to pray, and then you can pray for that person. And I understand that particular idea, but then if we go by Neville Goddard's standard, we're all the same person, and so if I know I would want to be healed, then it's okay for me to pray for that person without their permission, and it is of their free will. You have to weigh both of those and decide for yourself. But the key is, if you pray something for someone that you wouldn't want for yourself, it will come back to you like a boomerang. Neville Goddard mentions that several times, especially when you are more awakened and you are not open to the suggestions of the world that you're creating your reality. Then if somebody is imagining or cursing you or praying against you or wishing you harm or doing black magic or whatever that is, it will come back to them. So you must imagine properly, because what you're imagining for someone else, you are imagining for yourself. So there's several different examples. For instance, imagine that a girl wants a new car and you want her to have that car. You imagine that you are that girl in her body, driving the car with your hands on the steering wheel. It takes a fairly significant level of imagination to do that. Or you can imagine getting a phone call or meeting that girl in person and hearing her voice, hey, I got a new car. You got to check this out. Or getting a text from that person and you know what their text looks like on your phone. Some people struggle with imagining texts and emails. I know that I have, and it is more difficult to generate feeling-oriented or sense-oriented imaginations when doing that. Joseph Murphy suggested in his writings that you are imagining for yourself that the healing goes on within you. But you can heal others. He has several different examples that he gives in his lecture on developing your healing consciousness, for instance. He says, an example of a mother that is healing her child of fever. The fever of the child was due to the suppressed rage and anger of the mother, which was subjectively felt by the child and expressed as a high fever due to the excitation of the child's mind. Having quieted her own mind, the mother began to pray for the child in this manner, saying, Spirit, which is God, is the life of my child. Spirit has no temperature. It is never sick or feverish. The peace of God flows through my child's mind and body. The harmony, health, love, and perfection of God are made manifest in every atom of my child's body. She is relaxed and at ease, poised, serene, and calm. I am now stirring up the gift of God within her, and all is well. She repeated the above prayer every hour for several hours, and then shortly thereafter she noticed a remarkable change in her child. Now some people will say, well, that's a mother and a child, but what's the difference? If you can find a connection with that person, then you can heal them, and you will generally find that connection within yourself. Thus, it is much easier for a mother to heal the daughter through prayer because the mother identifies herself within that child very easily. Murphy explains that we are all natural-born healers. For for the simple reason that the healing presence of God is within all men, and all of us can contact it with our thoughts. It responds to all. The healing presence is in the dog, the cat, the tree, and the bird. It is omnipresent. It is in the soil. It is the life of all things. You're contacting this healing presence, and that is the subconscious mind, which is linked to everyone's subconscious mind. So you can contact this presence within you. At a minimum, when thinking of others, you should wish for everyone what you wish for yourself: health, happiness, peace, and the blessings of life. Forgive yourself for the harboring of negative thoughts. Forgive everybody. And then you create a vacuum, and this light and power will rush in and heal you. One technique that you can try with the waterfall meditation that I utilized from one of Neville Goddard's lectures is to imagine that you're at the fountainhead of a waterfall. And it's kind of easy to imagine that you are the water that's flowing, and it's flowing through you and out in below you. You visualize a person and you can see their garden. You can see that they have a tree that says abundance, and you can water that abundance tree. Or they have a tree that's health, and you can water it, and seeing the tree grow. This metaphorical symbolism within the imagination still has powerful magical effects in my own experience. When I use this meditation, I imagine I am the waterfall's coming through me, flowing through me and out, and I'm watering the gardens of my 2 sons, my wife, our extended family, the people that work for me. I water them individually. I go into their garden. I imagine it growing and growing, and then I return to it and keep it watered. What is happening is that you're accessing that healing presence, that oneness that is in the subconscious mind for all. Some people struggle with imagining in their minds, and it's easier for them to use words. If you can accept the idea that you are God and come to this realization that that is explained in the Bible, that the stories of the Bible are you. You're not just one set of reincarnations, you are all of them. You are God. You created the universe. If you're in that state of mind, the I am presence within you, where you can declare what you want, then you can decree that someone's healed, that someone gets what they want. You just simply say, I decree by my power that this person is a millionaire, that this person is healed, that this person finds their lost luggage. You claim it by decree, and the angels will do your bidding when you are in that state, when you are in the active presence and you accept who you truly are. When you accept that, that's what Jesus is doing, is he's taking that presence and he heals the sick. He heals the lepers and the poor and all of it. As he says in his awakened Christed state, I am the Lord that healeth thee. If thou return to the Almighty, thou shalt be built up. The Lord will perfect that which concerneth me. Behold, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me? I will restore health into thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord. Who healeth all thy disease? Who satisfied thy mouth with good things? Who restored thy youth like an eagle? He sent his word and healed them and delivered them from their destruction. I will put my spirit in you, and ye shall live. You can see that he's accessing, with those powerful words, this healing presence, and you can access it too. The examples that Joseph Murphy gives is he saw somebody while he was in India that was clearly exhibiting schizophrenic behavior and acting crazy, and this woman came up, and he watched this person get healed, and he went up and asked, and they said that they saw the God in them, to recognize the God in them. Recently, it was very hard for me because my wife was struggling. She was in pain, and I wanted to help her. I wanted to heal her. I wanted to find a way. Now, I do believe in some cases the other person has to want to be healed. But if you wish somebody to be healed and they don't want it, that means that healing is just going to come back to you like a boomerang. Remember, what you think of others, they become. If you always look at your son as somebody that can't do math, then he's not going to do math. If you get disappointed with your daughter because they're always struggling and you look down upon them, then you create their reality. We are creating the reality of everyone we meet. If you see the poor person on the street and you pity them and you don't try to imagine the opposite for them, imagining that this is a stepping stone, that they're transformed, that they find their peace, their happiness, their joy, their friendship, that they find love, that they find a place to live, that they're comfortable and happy, that they're clothed and well fed, then you are doing a great disservice to the people around you, because you are creating their reality and you are putting them into states. And this is your responsibility as you gain greater power with this consciousness of love, with this great healing power that you're accessing and awakening to, but you're still looking down upon people, not being aware that every thought that you have is creative. When you are in the perfect God state, then you can do service for the whole planet at a high level, sitting right there in your room. You can heal everyone. Now, I believe this is an art. And the more and more we do this together, the more and more we can change the planet and the world, and we can do it one person at a time. So I'm going to share with you some different things that people ask me to imagine for them. Have you ever, just in deep meditation, put yourself into the mind of God, where he or she or it is listening to all these prayers? What sort of level of consciousness would that be? It would be a cacophony of different voices. I had an amazing experience at the recent Large Sums of Money RealityCon 3, where I asked everybody to tell me their intentions at the same time. It was so beautiful. I heard this cacophony of voices, this beautiful rhythm where everybody was saying the things that they wanted, the dreams that they had. There really is two polarities in the universe, and one is magnetic and one is radiatory. And I believe the positive polarity is radiating out instead of just pulling stuff in. So what I like to do when I meditate is I always will have at least 5 or 10 people, my go-to list that I always pray for, and I will imagine the light energy that's coming through me from the top of the universe, from down below, from all around. I become tuned into that energy. I purify it and I send out that highest intention of love and light from my heart to that person, allowing them to access this energy, to guide them, to call upon my guides and higher self to watch over them, whatever I can do. I make it unconditional love so that it can help them in any way, shape, or form, not even knowing what they need. I send it out to them. I send it out to my sons, my wife, our extended family. Sometimes I'll say their name in the meditation out loud to help clarify it for me. But oftentimes we have the wonderful opportunity to imagine for others, as we do on this video. People are going to put comments and they're going to say, please imagine for me. I want you to come back to this video and just look through the comments anytime you want to imagine for someone else, to get into that mode of imagining and sending your light to other people, just to do it. You can just go through the comments. And I want you to put down what you want me to imagine for you, whatever you're going through. If we imagine together, with the full force of the reality revolution, amazing things will happen. I have so many stories that I could tell you, some that come to mind. One time a girl posted in our group saying, my luggage was lost. They said I will never be able to get it after I got back from the airport. So I spent some time imagining that she would get her luggage back. And then she posted almost the next day saying that they did find my luggage and had come back to her. There's also the story of a friend of mine that had a truck stolen. Posted on Facebook, if anybody sees my truck, put a picture up. And then I imagined that this person's truck was back and that they were happy, and I was excited. I analyzed how I felt in excitement about them getting their car back, and also could see the digital image of it and imagined. And then same exact thing happened. They got their car back. I've imagined for people that say that their mother is struggling with cancer, and they've come back and said that my mother has had a miracle happen and that the cancer is now in remission. I'm sure that many of you have had success with this. Please, if you don't want to ask for something to imagine in the comments, then tell me your success story. There are thousands of success stories. There's so many success stories in imagining for other people. I love to imagine, particularly when I know somebody's voice, because I am a very auditory person. And so I imagine that somebody's telling me, I just got a new job. I just got a new car, whatever it is. And then I'm congratulations, that's fantastic. And I try to go through all of the different feelings and emotions that I have when they tell me what they have achieved. That is the technique that Neville Goddard used most often, hearing other people and congratulating them. So that's something that I've had success with. I've had success imagining for people and their businesses, and they've had huge successes in their business. I've had people that asked for me to imagine them getting 1,000 subscribers when they had 25, and within a couple of weeks they had 1,000 subscribers. I've had people ask me to imagine for the number of views on a video, and it worked. It's much more effective when I imagine for myself. And I am sure that you see people all the time, because we're in this shared social media universe where people are sharing their problems and what they're going through today. Even if you turn on the news, I know that you're hesitant to turn on the news. You don't believe in them and you think it's all conspiracy, but you see people that are struggling. For instance, right now, as I'm recording this, we've had a terrible earthquake in Turkey. And so I'm going to spend some time imagining for the families that lost people, and imagining for those in those communities that they are healed, that they find the resources that they need, that they have the food that they want. I will declare it, I will decree it, I will affirm it, and I will imagine it. And more as I see the world as it's struggling, wars in Ukraine, wherever it is, whatever's going on, gang attacks in Mexico, I will spend some time imagining for that. Now, what I have learned is I can identify this place inside of me where that thing is happening. I can actually access the states of it. And then I also like to use the technique that Matt Kahn taught us, which is to say, thank you for reminding me what my light is transforming. So when you see something on the news, it's already done, but you can imagine for them. Paul Selig tells us that when we see them in our own upper vibration, we can raise them up. So there is a responsibility for you to be in that high vibration in order to heal others. Much of the healing is happening within yourself. When you come to someone from that higher vibration, then you can heal them and bring them up to your vibration. One of my favorite techniques is to use the I remember when. So I remember when they were struggling with their problem. Several times I've used the I remember when, and very quickly, whatever the problem was overcome. So I'm going to read through some of my Facebook posts where people are requesting for me to imagine for them and for anybody in the group. And so I'm asking you to imagine for these people. And If you want to get into that rhythm where you're imagining for others, scroll down the comments. If anybody's asking, I may not be able to comment, but I will imagine for you. That's the one thing that I can promise. I will imagine for you. I'm going to do my best to imagine for you. And if we imagine together, we can change this world. Now, this is an evergreen episode, like I said, but I want you to go through this process and imagine for them, however many years past this episode is. Just imagine for them. It doesn't hurt you one bit, just while you're watching this, to share with me in imagining. Christy Evers says, please imagine my youngest daughter happy, balanced, and loving life. She tried to commit suicide, is now being held in a hospital psych ward until she can be transferred to a mental facility. Brian Larson asks to imagine all of us as the best version of ourselves, hanging out together in person, laughing, crying, singing, dancing, and hugging. Cindy Dillon asks, please imagine financial independence and freedom for me. I'm on an unlimited income. Also, a neighbor has been abusing me using loud bass reverb 24 hours a day for 15 months. I've tried so hard to get help and haven't been able to. Please imagine for the resolution of this problem, as it's made me so sick. Please imagine a financial windfall for me. Thank you and love you. Michelle Mazer asks for a job that I love and a place to live, preferably a place with a yard for my dog. Laurentia Basson says, to have a goal again and remember my soul contract. Kristen Kruska asks, I would like my mother to be happy, peaceful, and free from suffering. Lori Dunstan asks, I would love for you to imagine communities working together to meet each other's needs and build deeper connections with each other. Christina Frederick asks that she finds work to serve the greatest good. Carrie Craik asks, please imagine my niece healthy and free from cancer. Haley Maas asks, can you imagine large sums of money flowing into my life so I can buy my own home overlooking the ocean, build a savings, and cover my debts? Thanks. OJ Hendricks asks, please imagine with me that I'm gainfully employed. Richard Procopio says, effortless intentional quantum jumps and effortless connection to the field. I promise to reciprocate. Susie Swan Queen asks, thank you, Brian. I would love it if you imagine my business really taking off this year. This is my 3rd year, and I would love to see substantial growth. Chris Morrissey says, I've been through a lot of stress over the past few years, and my physical, psychological, and social health have suffered as a result. I'd be grateful if you would imagine that I'm healed, I am healthy, and I am whole. Thank you so much for offering to do this. Rowena asks, guys, please imagine me having financial freedom after an ugly divorce and my ex-narcissist husband was able to escape his financial obligation from me. My finances had been so bad, so please imagine me having a prosperous life, being able to help needy, especially sick people from my country of Philippines. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alejandra Salamiento asks, imagine me in my own home. Donna and Gary Cooper, I'm going through a very difficult time with my sibling who's trying everything he can to destroy my elderly mother who's suffering from dementia and a host of other ailments. We currently have my mom live in caregivers, but since he lives just next door to her, he's being very destructive, causing problems. I think he may even suffer from manic bipolar, but I really need the universe to solve this situation in a manner for the best interest of all involved, and any help in visualizing would be greatly appreciated. Kanika Tanwar asks, I want a job, successful career for myself. I don't know what kind of job or career I want, but I know I want to feel abundant, to have a comfortable life. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Maria Jimenez asks, I struggle with public speaking. Could you help with that, please? English is my second language. Even though I can understand it 100%, my speaking skills are not. Large sums of money flowing to me constantly. Thank you in advance. Kimberly Vanderkind says, I would love for you to imagine my business growing tenfold this year, bringing my clients and me co-created successes. Petra Marco asks to find the true, specific person and live extraordinary life. Holly Turley asks for me to imagine creativity and clarity on life purpose. Gemma Campbell asks to buy the dream house for myself and my children and our Labrador, security for my family, a highly prosperous business to serve others. Thank you. Nada Arita asks, I need a job where I don't hate to wake up to go to. I need to love anything about my life. Irishmike Ryan asks, I'm going through a divorce from my wife who is exhibiting narcissistic behavior and totally ignoring me and my kids and lying to people about what's really happening. Very difficult time. I want the confident person I used to be back and my sense of humor back, to be a great dad to my boys once more, and I pray that she has relief from her condition. Tess Tucker asks, I would love to never get a migraine again. Currently suffering and struggling to look after my 6-year-old who isn't feeling very well. Chisholm Okafor asks, imagine me very happy, abundant, and secure. Manuela Nitu asks for success on my professional path, wealth and abundance. Sorella Fraser asks, my sister Dominique to receive healing for her ailments, my mom to receive healing for her ears, to have the money and resources to move me and my family to Scotland as soon as possible. Thank you. Ellie Malaris says, I'm grateful for you to imagine unity, calm, and understanding for my family, husband, and 2 adult sons for a recent incident that has rocked our world. Genia Billingsley asks, please imagine me in perfect health. Leslie Hammond asks that I would appreciate if you could all imagine me in my power, with the ability to listen to my higher self about next steps in my life journey. Many thanks. Kia Jacobs asks, I would like for you to imagine my oldest son, Chris, completely healed from stage 4 cancer. Thank you. Angel Fathy asks, imagine for me receiving large sums of money effortlessly. Darlene Smith asks, imagine me receiving large sums of money flowing to me in expected and unexpected ways that I get to keep consistently and to be joyful. Thank you. Jacqueline Bent asks, let's see my business grow in 20 countries around the world, and I am at the top 1% in sales. Sanella Omerovic Avdik says, imagine myself as my authentic self, doing what's my true life purpose, helping others heal, and being in peace. Chantal Lajeunesse says, I am deeply struggling with the passing of my 15-year-old dog that meant the world to me. He was my only family and best friend. Stacy B asks, I would love to be financially secure so my 3 children can have a comfortable life. Lisa Page asks for vibrant health, energy, strength, and healing from stage 4 cancer. Cinderella asks, I want to be free from long-time abusive relationship. Tammy Bauer says, I'm dealing with serious health issues, asking for help manifesting the best possible outcome. Liz Nicolau says to imagine that I have a job where I'm valued and generously compensated. Amber Lynn says I would like to get over my abandonment trauma. It affects me in every area of my life. I would like to live an abundant life where I can give to every person who needs without a thought. And I mean that as in money, energy, love, time, phone conversations. I just want to be happy. I want to be healthy so that I can give without restraint. I worry a lot about my finances not being where they need to be despite the efforts that I make. So I'm just praying for guidance and change. Eileen Crick Phillips says, I want to move on from a 20-year toxic marriage. I'd like to align with my perfect place to live, my career that provides abundant income. Azra Sangster asks, please imagine me with large sums of money, having paid all my debts and owning my home. Many thanks. So I have asked this several times in my Facebook group. This particular post had 600 different requests. I'm only giving you a small sampling. I wanted to create a place for people to put in the comments for me to imagine and keep updating your imaginings. I'm going to check and then see the newest posts on this particular video, and I'm going to imagine for you. You might ask, geez, there's a lot of problems in the world. Some of the stuff that they're asking seems sort of small. Shouldn't we be imagining for something in particular? All of it's important. Anything anybody wants or desires is important, and I want to imagine for them. I never judge it. I send them the light. They are me. Every single person that I read in this is me. And there is a part of me that can feel that need for financial freedom, or that struggle with their neighbor, or that struggle with their husband, or the toxic marriage. All of it. I can see it. I can feel it. It saddens me. I want to take away that sorrow. I want to give you the freedom, the joy in knowing that you can create your reality, and I want to help to create it for you. I send you my light. I send you my love. I'm asking everybody else to start imagining for everyone. And for people that you see on the street, I want you to imagine for them. When you walk into the grocery store, I want you to see everybody in the perfect place they can be. See them fit, happy, healthy. If you see somebody that's sick, imagine them healed. If you see somebody that's homeless, imagine them abundant and healthy, prosperous. I want you to start to see the world around you the way you want it to be. I want you to see that for everyone. Neville Goddard, before he experienced the promise, had a everyday thing where people came to him and he sat in silence with them. And both people would imagine whatever it is they wanted to imagine. Sit in silence, imagining for others. And it will awaken something in you that is your true God self. And that is all that is needed to awaken your true power. Look for ways that you can imagine for others, but you don't need to look too far. Anything, everything that you see out in the world, you can resolve within yourself, and you can imagine it differently. I can't wait to hear all the success stories in the comments. Please share them with me, message me. If we sit and imagine together, for the people I mentioned in this video, as well as the hundreds more, come to my Facebook group. I regularly have posts where I ask to imagine for people. I see you healthy, happy, peaceful, enlightened, joyful, abundant, prosperous. I see you with all the love and light. I see you in such wonderful glory, and I want you to accept it, because that's all that is left, is for you to know that perfection is yours, because I see it in you. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. You can access these images to help you find true prosperity, large sums of money, true love, radiant health, and spiritual enlightenment, with unique portals into the new earth. And welcome to the Reality Revolution.